Hello again from my front porch. Well, it has been a rather interesting last few days in our nation, and on Facebook it's still very interesting. A lot of people who are still passionate, we'll say, and who just seem determined to pick fights with people. That's not what we're going to talk about here. Remember, this is not a political discussion. But I thought I'd give us some opportunity for some laughs, for a little lightheartedness, okay? So I'm going to try that. So the first thing I'm going to point out to you is, obviously, this is at night that I'm filming this because I've been having a little trouble getting out of bed in the mornings. I've been staying up too late at night and doing work and being active. And I find that I want to stay in my bed as long as possible in the mornings. And this morning, I stayed in bed a little longer than was possible. And I wound up having to scramble to get to work. And in doing so, I drove all the way the 25 minutes to work. And I get there and I realize I had taken my laptop computer home over the weekend and had left it at home. So I had to turn around, drive all the way back home, and then drive all the way back to work again. So that was just, see, for me it was miserable. For you, you're laughing because it's funny for you. See, and that's why I'm sharing it. So it's okay. You go ahead and laugh. Oh, yeah. But now, there are other. I'm not going to take up all your time, but I want to tell you like one or two other funny things. Not about me personally. This is a Sven and Lena joke. Now, if you're familiar with these, there are these jokes about Norwegian being Sven and Ole, or Lena and Sven, or Sven, whoever they. But so in this particular story, I'm going to say that Ole and Lena are married, okay, and they're living in their little cabin in Minnesota. Now, I can't do the Norwegian voices. I probably could if I tried, but I'm not going to try right now because that would be just one more thing for you to be laughing at. And besides, if I tried to do Norwegian, it'd probably start coming out Irish or something. So, forget the accents. I'll just tell you the joke story. Here we go. So, Ole and Lena are sitting on their front porch in their cabin in Minnesota. And they look off in the distance and they see these guys out measuring with stuff and all kinds of equipment. And one of the guys comes walking by their porch. And Ole waves him down, says, hey, come here. And the guy comes over and says, well, how can I help you, sir? And Ole says, what are you guys doing over there? What's going on? And the guy says, oh, well, see, back in the day when they measured the state boundary lines here, they actually didn't get it quite right. So we're out here correcting things. And I hate to tell you this, folks, but you don't actually live in Minnesota. You live in Wisconsin. And Ole is shocked. He is surprised. He turns to Lena and he says, did you hear that, Lena? And she says, yes, I heard that. And he looks at the young man, he smiles a big grin, and he says, thank you so much. And the young guy, the worker fellow says, okay, why thank you? And he says, I was just sitting here telling Lena, I don't know how we are going to survive another Minnesota winter. Yes, that's the whole joke. Okay, so here's another one for you. There's a guy who wanted to be a train conductor. All his life, grew up loving trains, and he grows up and he becomes a train conductor. But because of his own carelessness, he leaves a door open that he shouldn't, and a passenger falls out and dies. Well, obviously he loses his job, he gets arrested, and they take him to jail, and he gets found guilty of negligence resulting in death, and he's sentenced to the death penalty. Well, on death row, he's given an opportunity for his final meal. What would you like? And he says, well, for my final meal, I would like these special blue mushrooms that they only grow in Japan. And I would really like them for my final meal. And they're like, okay, that's odd, but all right, fine. So the prison arranges to get these blue mushrooms from Japan. They make them into his meal, and he eats it. And he goes in, and they put him in the electric chair. And they get him all strapped in, and they fire it up, and it goes off, and it short circuits. Nothing happens. It's like everything's worked, but it doesn't kill him. It doesn't electrocute him. He's fine. And they say, well, we have no choice. We have to release you. So they release him. He goes back out into life, and he takes another shot at trying to be a train conductor again. This is his passion. He really wants to do this. So he manages to get back into the program. He gets another railway that hires him, so that he's able to go out and do his job. And this time, he accidentally hits a coupling that comes loose, and a whole train car rolls away and smashes 3 people die, and there's thousands of dollars of damage to all kinds of stuff. He gets arrested again. He gets taken to jail again. Sentenced to death again. And again, death row, what would you like to eat? I want the blue mushrooms from Japan. He eats the food, goes, sit in the electric chair, turn it on, zzz, doesn't do anything, doesn't kill him. They're just amazed. I gotta release you again. So he goes out, and now this time he's thinking, well, maybe I should find a different job. Maybe I should do something else. But no, being a train conductor is all I've ever wanted to do. This time I will get it right. Well, so he manages to one more time get a job as a train conductor. This time he takes some refreshments up to the engineer at the front of the train and somehow manages to knock the engineer out the door of the train. The engineer dies. The train goes completely out of control. There's a massive train wreck. He survives, but almost everybody on that train dies. It is horrible. It is worst catastrophe in history for railroad disasters. Needless to say, he goes to jail again. He's found guilty again and sentenced to death. They take him to the prison. They say, what would you like? Again with the blue mushrooms from Japan. He eats the meal, sits in the chair, and what do you suppose happens this time? You got it. They do the electric, they flip the switch, nothing happens. It doesn't kill him. And they're like, what is in those blue mushrooms that you eat? And he says, I don't know. I don't think the mushrooms have anything to do with it. Well, it has to be the mushrooms. What else could it be? Well, I'm pretty sure I've already demonstrated that I'm a really bad conductor. Easy, good. Okay. That was pretty bad, wasn't it? All right, so I have one more. Now this one's written down, and I have to wear the spectacles to be able to read this one. So forgive the glasses. So here we go. This one I think you're gonna really like. A couple from Minneapolis. You poor people from Minnesota. I'm sorry I keep picking on you. Not really, no. A couple from Minneapolis decided to go to Florida for a long weekend to thaw out during a particularly icy winter, unlike what we're having here right now. They planned to stay at the very same hotel where they had spent their honeymoon 20 years before. Oh, isn't that sweet? Because both had jobs, they found it difficult coordinating their travel schedules. It was decided the husband would fly to Florida on a Thursday and his wife would follow him on the next day. Upon arriving, the husband checked into the hotel, as planned. In his room, there was a computer, so he decided to send his wife back in Minneapolis an email. However, he accidentally left out one letter in her address and sent the email without realizing his error. In other words, it went to the wrong place. In Houston, a widow had just returned from her husband's funeral. The dearly departed was a minister of many years who had passed away following a heart attack. The widow checked her email, expecting messages from relatives and friends. Upon reading the first message, she fainted. The widow's son rushed in the room, found his mother on the floor, and saw the computer screen which read, "To my loving wife. Subject, I've arrived. I know you're surprised to hear from me. They have computers here now, and you are allowed to send emails to your loved ones. I've just arrived and have been checked in. I see that everything is prepared for your arrival tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you then. Hope your journey is as uneventful as mine was. P.S. Wow, it sure is hot here." It's the simple things that give me pleasure, yes. All right, I've taken up enough of your time. And you're like, oh, I can't believe I just wasted all that time watching these jokes. That's the biggest joke of them all. All right, with that, I'm going to let you go. Until next time, from my front porch.